Morning, morning, morning! Hello there, Mr. Pinder. How are you, my friend?
I am very well, Simon. How about yourself?
Good. Look, I just to show how much respect I give you, I have come wearing a shirt, which is very unusual for me, but I am wearing the trademark hat. But I thought I'd mix up the styles for you, Richie, if that's all right.
That is completely fine. So I have not donned a collar, unfortunately, but it is not through
Gosh,
a lack of respect.
that's prop tech, my friend. That's it. I was trying to get all bling there. Richie, thanks very much for joining us. I think it's fair to say, I am a little bit skippy from time to time, and I get excited. But actually, and I'll be really honest, I didn't think you were going to get me that excited when you first explained the business. But as you have been very, very kind and slowly explained to me over the weeks what it's about, I have got much more interested. And to the
Thank you.
degree, obviously, there that we've aggressively signed you up, not just on the kerfuffle side of things, but we're obviously doing a lot with you on the RAN side of things as well. So, as I always said, we're going to go into it here. You're going to, guys, here's the little teaser. If you want to increase the value of your lettings business, stay tuned to the end because this man's able to help you as well. What we're going to do though is let's just go in and, as usual, pretend that nobody knows about you and skip the deposit. Give us the elevator pitch, explain what you're doing and how you're able to help agents, if you don't mind.
Yep, sure. So Skip the Deposit is a deposit replacement tool. Unlike some of the others that have been available prior to us, we are a fully insurance-backed product. So we don't chase your tenants for damages or claims after we've paid the landlord back, which is the biggest difference between what we do and the others. In terms of where we are beneficial to the agents, it's an easy setup with no costs. So you can use us straight away without any sort of headaches.
Yep.
There's up to 8 weeks cover available. So we match what's out there in the marketplace. It's a really simple claims process. As long as the move in, move out documentation and the invoices basically marry up with what you're asking for, we aim for a 72-hour payout from that upload process. And we've got some really cool tech behind that helps speed that along and make it easy for agents because we don't want them spending hours filling forms out.
Yep.
So really simple claims process. And probably one of the best bit is we offer for your kerfuffle members at least, a 12.5% commission, and that's ongoing. So any policies that are sold on day one, we pay that out as well. But on renewal, we will pay that out continuously for the life of our working relationship.
So that's a major. Oh, look, that's a major difference, isn't it? Let's be honest. You weren't allowed to. You're meant to save that to the end. Now
I,
people will just turn off and say like, arrange a
I'm
meeting with
sorry.
Richie. But look, that is it's critical, isn't it? Right? I mean, so first of all, yeah, sometimes the minute people start hearing it's brilliant, it's based on tech and all the rest of it. But I have seen your tech, and what's absolutely fantastic about it, tech, it's at its most basic, is about allowing you to do more with less, isn't it? And it's about making the journey so much easier. And that's what's absolutely brilliant about Skip the Deposit. So I think that's the element there. But just take us through that again, looking at that kind of that point about, so the tenant pays what, a small fee?
So we take 16% of whatever the deposit is. So
Yep.
really simple math. It's a fixed amount. So it doesn't matter whether it's £1,000 deposit or a £3,000 deposit, tenant pays 16%. Now, just to be totally clear, unlike a cash deposit, that is renewed annually, same as your
Yep.
car insurance. But the point being is it's a less brutal moving barrier, I guess. That helps both the tenant and the agent speed up the process, hopefully.
So I always um I always kind of have to ask this question. So you're going to be the first insurance-backed, scheme here. Why are loads of people not doing this? What's been the blocker, or is it just you had that light bulb, the apple fell on your head, or is that just your background?
It's a bit of everything, really. So it came about because my younger brother asked to borrow a deposit. Being the nice older brother I am, I sent it over to him. Then
Yeah,
my brain kicked in, and I rang him back and said, "Well, where is your deposit from the house you're moving out of? Have I just
yeah,
basically lost a load of money?" He explained the tenancy schemes process about claiming money back and disputes and whatnot. So I thought that was a bit crazy. Skip initially was going to be a vat of money that we just did sort of high cost short term lending, just bridging loans, but there's not enough in that. And the reason to come to your point, why there isn't an insurance product out there. There are ones that say they're insurance backed, and we can go into that if we need to. But an actual insurance product, it never existed. So I had to go to the market and the guys I work with and say, can I create a brand new insurance product, please? And there's quite a lot of regulatory tape to jump through, shall we say, to get a policy off the ground. It took us.
It's not like being in Kerfuffle or normal prop tech. We just make this stuff up, don't we? I can imagine you've got quite a few hoops to go through.
I've got several large binded folders on my bookcase behind me of things that I can and can't do. But I mean, the good point is we spent 2 years, we got it across the line, and it is the only insurance policy that covers a deposit. I think I touched on it earlier, but the main difference is the things that are out there at the moment are tend to be referred to as warranties, not insurance, but they get fudged together. A warranty basically means that the landlord will be made whole as quickly as possible, but then they will chase that tenant. That to me feels a bit wrong, because the tenant's paying basically to defer that deposit, as opposed to not paying a deposit, having a true replacement. And the biggest thing for me about that is, and certainly for your agents as well, that with the things like with Google and everything like that, they leave a review. That's not about the deposit scheme that they use. That's about the agent that put them onto it. So your agent is going to be, the tenant's going to be left with a bad taste in the mouth from an agent's point of view, not the deposit replacement. Because I'd love it if everyone knew what Skip was, but let's be honest, they're not. They're going to remember that they got it from ABC Lettings.
The agent always gets tarred, don't they? Whether it's
exactly
whatever the element is, the landlord or the deposit problem, they're in the line of fire, whether that's true or not. It's not like Google has got the time and energy to define this stuff as well, is it? Which is a big problem.
That's it. And for us, we said this from day one. We work with and for the agents. If we aren't doing our job correctly and making the agent's life easy, we just don't exist, because what's the point?
You were kind enough to come and back us at the Kerfuffle conference. It was good to see so many people, sort of coming over to have a chat with you about it. But one of the dynamics that's actually linked back, obviously, our conference was about, the trusted agents and everything else. And what was fascinating when we looked over 20,000 estate agency sites, looking at Google, Trustpilot, and everything else, was how many agents had actually separated their lettings part of the business away on the review sites, because they were getting tarred with a brush, because the tenants were being, whether it's fair or unfair, they were hitting it. So there is a drag factor in terms of the sales and the letting side of the business, which, look, I don't know how I would be able to actually be detailed about it, but it's definitely a factor.
Agreed. Yeah, a Google review is a great tool, but it can also be your worst enemy, because you're a name and the review is a view as a whole. So yeah, you're right, it can bring you down.
So talk me through, okay, so simple Simon again, walk me through a real claim end to end. Who adjudicates? What did you say? What's the average payout time? Did you say 72?
72 hours is what we aim for.
Wow.
So simple claims process. Agents, effectively, we have an app. You put it on your phone, you go into the property, you open the app, you point it at the burn on the carpet, and you say, I am in the front room of 1 Main Street. This is a burn on the carpet, and I'm going to upload the invoice for the work, or the estimate for the work when I get back to the office. The reason we've done it this way is that means that the system dictates everything you're saying. It takes the video and it puts it into a standardized claims process.
Okay.
The reason for that, Simon, is that if you're making everything standardized, it's really quick for our handlers to look at, because they go, it's there, perfect. Yeah. All of our handlers are in the UK, either Manchester or London, so you're not dealing with people in different time zones or anything like that. Yeah. So agent takes the video, they upload that. In real time, the system will write it out for them and put it into the format we need. We then need the move-in document to show that there wasn't a burn there when the person moved in and signed for it. The move-out document that just backs up that the tenant has left the property. Obviously, we've gathered that video evidence. We've also got the transcript that's been put in there. And then it's just upload the invoice or the quote for work, hit send. That's the start of your 72 hours. We will notify the tenant. So whenever a tenant buys a policy, there is a tenant portal created. So much like your car insurance, I assume you don't get paper documents anymore. You go to a portal. Absolutely. It'll be in there. They will be notified as well that a claim is being processed, but they're not going to really want to dispute anything in most cases that we see, because it doesn't really affect them.
And who adjudicates if there is a challenge? How does that work?
It works with our in-house team. So effectively, as I said, we work for the agents. So
Yep.
if let's take a bit of a simpler one. We'll park the burn for a minute. So there's a dispute over whether the cooker was cleaned.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like
So
all of
agents.
these, all of these comparisons. You've obviously spoken to my landlord at university, basically. Burns in
Yeah,
burns
I
in the
did.
carpet and everything else. Yeah.
I tracked down Mr. Briggs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So effectively, the agent puts a claim in for cleaning the cooker. Let's call it 100 quid.
Yeah.
That gets notified to the tenant. Says the tenant will say there was a claim for £100 for non-cleaning of the cooker. You can dispute this. If they choose to dispute it, it doesn't stop the process. They are immediately asked, and they can't submit it until they can prove that they did clean the cooker. Because let's be fair, we're all adults here. We're working with the agents, and we're going, if you can prove that that agent is effectively lying, show us. If you can't, then we're going to pay this. Okay, that's it. Now, what that does from a perspective to a tenant, if there is missed payments and serious size claims, then we will file that back with some of the credit reference agencies that we work with. So that it's not a faceless crime, as you hear in the papers all the time. But what we will also do is we are constantly building up some files in the background. So one of the cool things that comes off the back of this is that Simon went to university in Newcastle, let's say. You had a raging party before you left, and you skipped out on paying your last month's rent, and you caused a bit of damage because you're moving to Southampton. You go and knock on the door of the agent in Southampton. They put your name and date of birth into the system, and Skip goes, wait just a minute. He didn't pay his last month's rent in Newcastle, and he caused a load of damage. Now, you can rent to him if you want, but I don't think we're going to offer him an insurance policy because of how that claim went. Now, it's not necessarily going to say no, but that's like an early warning system for the agents as well.
You got more context, more information than you've ever had before, though, isn't that the critical element of it?
That is the big point to it, because we did quite a bit of research, and there's quite a lot of the moving around that goes on. So I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm a landlord myself, and if I get a call from an agent and I've got a particularly, let's say, difficult tenant, then they say, oh, they're looking at moving into my property. I say that I'm disappointed they're leaving. They're the best thing since sliced bread. I'm gutted. Realistically, I'm jumping for joy because I've got rid of the headache and it's someone else's problem. That goes on and on and on, and it always will. We're helping you get ahead of that because you're not relying on someone like me saying, oh, they're a great tenant when they're clearly not.
Yeah, you've actually got the truth of the matter there. I've got a couple of questions, Richie, that we put out to our clients, obviously, just to get it from there. So I was going to say, is there like any minimum commitment? So what's an agent signing into? Although because they're obviously not paying you a fee, you say that, but how do they sign up? What's the sign up process for the agent?
It's straightforward. We would send out a financial contract with them. So it's a contract that basically agrees that they're going to use the system under our terms and conditions. Obviously, it's a regulated product, so we have to do that. We want a 12-month commitment from an agent as a minimum. But again, in reality, if they sell one policy in 12 months, they've met the requirement of the contract. So as we are new, we're not trying to be overly aggressive with anyone. We're more, like I said, we want to work as partnership with the market and grow over the years. We're not trying to make a quick buck and run. So we are happy to work with agents at the moment in whatever guise they want to do, apart from they have to agree to the terms and conditions that we have around how you interact with insurance. Other than that, if they want to try it for 3 months and put a pause on it, we're fine with that. You want to run it alongside one of the other schemes to see which your tenants prefer, we're fine with that as well.
You're confident, and I do like that. So you're confident enough in your own proposition that you say, give us a go and test it.
Yeah. We are. I mean, I think I touched on the claims process. I don't think anybody can do it as quick as we can with the fact that we've built this for agents and landlords. We are partners with you guys. We still are completely fair to the tenants. So when they go into the purchase process, we actually present in front of them to say, you're paying X amount for a deposit. If you're planning on staying in this property for X number of years, it's probably cheaper for you to actually pay the full deposit. Are you sure you want to take this? Like, we're not trying to bamboozle anyone with hidden terms and conditions and everything that people seem to think insurance companies do. We are just saying we want to provide a service. If it's good for the tenant and it's good for the agent and it's good for the landlord, then go for it. If it's not, I'm not going to twist your arm.
Okay. And just on that onboarding, because a lot of people get quite frustrated, a lot of agents get frustrated about how difficult it is to get, all sorts of solutions. Very, very little works out of the box these days. And it's, you mentioned, I think there at the beginning, how relatively easy it is. I mean, what are people up and working in a matter of weeks, days, months? What does it take?
3 minutes.
Okay, that's about
we have a very strict design process from a technology point of view where we are, and if something takes more than 3 clicks, it's too long. So it's that simple.
Hang on, you nabbed that. Is that Apple who do that as well?
No, that's definitely me. Apple have something
Okay.
very similar, but no, we build everything from the ground up to make it a tool that's useful, and it's not just that it's going to make you money if you use it, because if it's going to take half an hour to do that, that's not cost effective to make 20 quid, 30 quid a policy. The point behind it is, I mean, I've wrote a couple of things recently around APIs where everyone says to me, "Oh, do we need an API?" And I'm going, well, if the API takes 4 minutes, but doing it manually takes 30 seconds, I know what I want to do. I don't want to wait 4 minutes. So APIs and integrations and things like that are brilliant if they add that value, and that value is time as much as anything, because everyone is really busy. So from our point of view, to go back to what you said about onboarding, in the system, you literally put the tenant's name, their date of birth, the deposit amount, and you choose the property address. Now, once that's in the system, you're not even free typing. You just click in the details. That's it. You hit send. It's done. That's what an agent does. Well, everything else goes to the tenant. So the tenant receives a communication. This is what you're buying. This is the address. This is you. Can you confirm everything's correct? That yada 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 has been done. Are you happy to continue? Yes, I am. Automatic payment gateway. We take the payment from the tenant. We then work with Stripe currently. We store those account information for automatic renewals, so that we're never left in the lurch in a year's time where we're chasing someone to try and make a payment. Even if they lose their card and try and say, "Oh, I don't have payment details," we work directly with the banks. The banks will update those payment details of the new card directly to us. So you can't not pay for your policy as long as you've agreed to auto renew, and that's what they do on everything at the start.
So it'd be the agent did name the companies, but I'm not going to. Let's just say some of the other
Okay.
Because it's because I'm magnificently whorish, and actually they do work with us. But anyway, but they've had cases where tenants have ended up with debt collectors after a claim that they didn't know about, and everything else there. What's your safeguard against that kind of outcome?
We take on the whole liability, so it's our risk. So we
it
don't.
It can't happen. Is that
we never chase a tenant for the debt?
Okay.
So we are an insurance company. So in the same instance, if we put it into your car insurance, if I crashed into the back of you, my insurance company pays me. They don't then chase me and go, "You owe us 800 quid." That's what you pay the insurance for. We win some, we lose some. So that's how it works.
Okay, cool. Well, that's nice. So this is one that actually, and we didn't talk about this, so I hope you're okay with it, but it was somebody I was talking to just earlier as I knew I was on with you. And they said that if a tenant already has a traditional cash deposit protected in one of the other tenancy deposit schemes, could they choose to take out a skip policy instead? And if everybody obviously agreed, would that allow the cash deposit to be released?
So tenant has paid a traditional deposit into a scheme. They buy a skip policy to replace that, and then
he's got about 600 properties under management. So that's the context he's thinking about there, and everything else.
Okay. No, I get it. So potentially yes. So as long as everybody is in agreement, so landlord, letting agent, and the tenant, then they could buy a skip policy. It would replace the traditional cash deposit. Now, as long as that's in place, I guess before you start the process of taking the cash deposit out, then there's no problem in doing that at all.
Okay. And so, look, I mean, let's look at it. The reality. I mean, who knows what's going on in? I haven't checked today in the Middle East or anything else there. But what we know is the cost of living crisis has bounced back very, very firmly again there, haven't they? And so,
Yeah.
actually, the ability for somebody to get that very valuable cash flow back into their pocket again could be incredibly popular from a tenant's point of view.
I think so. I mean, we actively, as I've said, we can't be seen to be pushing anything that way, but I can certainly attest to if someone said to me, you can go down the example you've just given, and
Yeah.
or take my brother, for example. My brother, I think, would certainly do that. Yeah, I think it's something that's fair. Yeah.
Knowing
Um,
tenants, yeah, I think that
yeah.
you're gonna have a big take up there, aren't you? Okay, well
Yeah,
that's
and I think just to add some security back to your agents that may be listening to this, that say, oh well, we've got the security of the cash being there.
yeah,
There's two things with that we look at. Is one, I've got some properties where people have been renting for 8-9 years, so my deposit's about 300 quid. That's not even going to
yeah,
paint a room anymore. So because this is an annual policy, your agents can choose to increase deposits in line fairly with the cost of repairs. So it might be £1,000 this year. They might choose to put it up to 15, I don't know, 1,300 next year. That's
yeah.
completely fair. It will increase the policy amount slightly, but because there hasn't been a claim made, there's sort of like an inverted axis where the tenant's policy in year 2 that we charge them should go down. So if
Yeah.
the agent is then increasing it slightly, it flatlines for the agent, for the tenant. So they pay the same amount. The agent / landlord has got more cover for year 2 and year 3 and
Yeah, yeah.
etc., which is a great thing. So from my point of view, I think that's a real positive that you don't get out of anything else, really.
So let me just follow that through and make sure. And again, you feel free to just laugh at me if that's the case. So we work on that basis. He's a great agent as well there. So
Okay.
traditional deposit there, it's dead money obviously for the landlord, sits in a scheme, whatever else. But the agent, the landlord, they earn a commission on each policy sold going forwards as well.
Yeah. So
And
if you have
sorry, and on that basis, on an annual basis. So, what we're talking about here, though, is a really, by definition, you will be making that lettings business more valuable. Am I getting that right?
we will be paying them every year, yeah. So
Whereas
every
they
time,
wouldn't have that, but they wouldn't have that previously, would they?
no, not at all. So as soon as if you think of it this way, every time a policy is sold, there is a commission attached to that. So whether it's a new or a renewal doesn't matter to us. We have to pay a policy. It's what we have to do. So that will be going directly to the agents every year.
And with the new zinging inflated commission fee as well, that's even more with which is great. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but what's really actually going back to, because it is, well, you probably saw my little eyes sort of get a bit, I don't know, can eyes get depressed? But obviously, whenever I'm talking to a supplier, I start saying, well, okay, how much of a discount can we get? And you had to explain to me a number of times that I can't discount free, which is why we've obviously come back at a different angle there. But actually, it's
Yeah.
far more important to think about what you could. I mean, literally, you know, those people with large portfolio landlords and everything else, this could be genuinely oh God, I've used game changing. I've used game changing again in an interview, but it could be though, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I have to sort of be careful what I say because I don't want to get too carried away and be seen to be saying to people, look, you get paid a commission, so push this, because it's
Right.
got to be offered as a genuine
Oh,
alternative.
this is
You
where
don't
you've
want to
got to
pay.
be white to white, and I see this is.
That's it. Yeah, I've got the wrong colour shirt on.
Do I have to?
But
I better check my T's and C's. Do I have to be? But anyway, but
yeah,
it's a fact. But it's a fact of life, isn't it? I mean, actually, if the point is that that you can't hide away from the basics and the essentials of what that actually enables, whether it's from the tenant's point of view, the landlord, or the agent, can you?
100%. So there's sort of one standardized line that we say, as long as we're not seen to be actively selling this instead of,
Yeah.
then it's fine. As I mean, when your tenant, as an agent, when your tenant gets into the process, as I said, we actively tell them how many years, if they stayed in the property for, they would pay more by buying an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Although it's cheaper up front, longer term, you'll be paying more. We get them to see all of that for you. So you're never going to be selling. You don't fall foul of any of the FCA regs around selling insurance because you're not. You're simply giving them the option to take a policy out. If they choose to want to find out more, you put them into our customer journey and we handle it all for you, and then you get paid a commission.
Love it. No, I mean it's frictionless, isn't it? Largely, I think just like this classic case. Sometimes it's not always possible, but this is as much as a win-win-win all round for all parties, isn't it? So
I like to think so, without
great. Well,
jinxing
I
it.
always like to, always like to hold on to the what's it's of people that are successful as well. So that's great. So I'm pretty shameless like that if I can see a good thing. So just so I'm going to work that through though, because I think that will be interesting. Won't do it now because my maths won't be good, but that could be quite impressive actually for people of obviously differing, however many properties they actually manage, and what that could add to the value of the business and everything else there going forwards. But
So
from my point,
if it helps you on that, Simon, we did some numbers for someone recently.
oh, did
So
you?
a similar size to what you said. I think they had, don't quote me on it, I think it was about 650 properties under management.
Yeah.
If they were to take, based on the deposit value that they had, which was between 2 and 2.5 grand, so it's a higher area,
Yeah.
we would be paying them a commission of about 30 to 32 grand a year.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Time to get interesting here. For those people that are stuck with us, that's essentially the money shot, literally. So that's great.
That's what we said. Stay tuned
Yeah.
for later.
I hope some of the people who fast forwarded to the end there for past my dulcet tones. Oh, look, it's brilliant. Look, we're going to catch up over the coming weeks and months. Look at product demos. Obviously, just people need to see the UI. They need to see how easy that is. Anything else though? For obviously, I think you're going to give us a PDF anyway. That hopefully at the end of this video, if it's on the right platforms, you should be able to download a copy. And I
Yeah,
think I'm right in saying we're going to get a ability to book a demo with you, just to ask some questions or see what it's like
yeah,
yourself as well.
yeah. So
Anything else I should ask?
no, I think we've cut it off. I mean, any of your agents, because it's the kerfuffle thing, they will speak to me rather than anyone else on the team. So whether that's a positive or a negative, I don't
Oh,
know.
we don't get the
But
riffraff. That's brilliant.
no, no, that's it. You get me if it's any good. Oh no, we did, Simon. You talked about running the prize draw between now and the end of August.
Oh, hang on a minute. How can I forget the best bit? Obviously, yeah. Okay, well, talk us through this. So, genuinely, you're going to do a prize draw for anyone that signs up. That's right. Yes, isn't it?
Signs up and sells a policy before the end of August.
Yep.
I think, did we say it was something like we give them an iPad for who comes out the prize draw first?
Yep.
Second,
Lovely
I think
stuff.
it was some Amazon vouchers, and third was a slap up pizza lunch or something for the
Pizza lunch
agency.
for the start.
So
Okay, well that's great. Well,
yeah,
look, you got three alerts. First of all, you got a great solution. Secondly, you've obviously got an increased commission, and thirdly, the chance of a
free
pizza
pizza.
guaranteed. There you
Yeah,
go. Can't be any better. There's a man who
winning.
understands this industry.
I hope so.
All
I
right,
hope
Richie,
so.
look, fantastic. Thanks for taking the time. As I said, we'll catch up and we'll keep people updated. But for today, thanks very much.
Cheers, Simon. Thank you.
Cheers.